Hello friends, today we will discuss a very interesting and important topic, that is stress. Stress has become a daily household word where we can see everybody in their fast life experience one or other form of stress. Children going to school, college, adults, employees, anybody, even the people who stay in house or the people who are unemployed, employed, successful, unsuccessful, everybody experiences stress at one or the other time of their life. It is very important to understand our stress, because without understanding the stress, we cannot help ourselves to tackle the stress. So in today's discussion, we will know what exactly is stress and how can we help ourselves in managing stress. So let us begin. What is origin of stress? Stress is an evolutionary concept wherein in early evolutionary phase, the humans had no much of a social life. Their only aim was to survive. So they had to do something to survive. They used to eat food, or they used to do whatever in their whole day that was aimed towards their survival. It was their primal instinct. So in the primal instinct, whenever they faced a situation which was a challenge or a threat to their survival, the body became designed, or it evolved to respond to such situations. So one of the situation where you can see here is when a caveman or a stone age man is being attacked by a wild animal. In such case, they had two or three options. The body responded either to fight the threat or to flight from the situation that is creating threat, or in some rare circumstances, some of the animals have evolved to freeze during the time of stress. So initially these responses were designed for to encourage a better survival of physical survival or biological survival. But in the original evolutionary phase, things changed. That we will discuss later. But now it is important to know that everyone does not respond to the stress in similar way. If you see in the previous slide also, there are three options. Either you can fight, or you can flight, or you can freeze. So what makes a person decide what to do at the time of a stressful situation? The stress affects differently because everyone perceives it differently. If you think that the situation is stressful and you cannot cope up with the situation, then your body is designed to flight the area. If you think that you can fight the animal that is attacking you, then you fight with the threat. So it is based on the way you perceive the threat. It is not based on the actual stressor. Stressor is the thing that is causing you stress. So this is a brief flowchart explaining how actually this stress cycle works. So whenever an event occurs, whereas like a wild animal, it's attacking you, your eyes, ear and sensors evaluate the situation and inform the brain. So when the brain is informed, the brain is having three levels. The most lower level is a vegetative level, which is actually sensing the information, which has the information and it senses the information. Then it is passed on to the middle level, that is a limbic system. So limbic system has stored in a memory, and vegetative level has stored memory, which evaluates whether the person is capable of capable of counteracting this stressor, whether he can tackle the stressor successfully. So based on that, emotions are generated. If they feel they can tackle the situation, the limbic system and the thalamus decides what is to be done. So this is a two-way communication. Once the middle layer decides what is to be done, Then the middle layer guides the lower layer, that is the vegetative system, to respond. So based on our previous experiences and our own evaluation of ourselves, we decide what to do, either to fight or to flight. So in this flowchart, you can see when a dog is attacking, the brain evaluates and generates a response. So three types of response can be generated. One is the brain decides that it is a very stressful situation and some action has to be taken in response to the stressful situation. So it enters into flight or fight mode. As you can see in the upper image, the person is chasing the dog. It is fighting with the dog. So it has entered the fight mode. A second is a flight mode where he has evaluated that he cannot cope up with the challenge of fighting with the dog. So it is in a running mode. So the hypothalamus activates endocrine system and ANS system. So this is a sympathetic response in which we become supercharged and we either fight the threat or we run away from the threat. The second thing is when the brain decides that it is not a stressful situation and we need not get agitated. It is a very common situation and you have experienced it before and there is nothing to fear of. That time the hypothalamus stimulates the parasympathetic response. In the parasympathetic response, our body or our biology stays calm and we tackle the situation very calmly. This is based on our past experiences, our perception of ourselves. So this is the reason why everyone perceives the stress differently. I hope this brief diagram explains you how we respond differently to stress. So coming to an example which you can correlate with your daily life. This is for students specifically. So imagine you have given your exams and the day on which the result is supposed to be announced has come. So you are awaiting the results. So the results is the stressor. You don't know what is going to happen. It is unsure what is going to happen. You are going to pass or you are going to fail. So that is a stressor. So because of the stressor, you are anxious. You are experiencing stress reactivity. Your body is reacting to the stress. That is called as anxiety. So at the end of the day, imagine the result does not come. So in the whole day, the stressor was generating reactivity in your body and you were anxious the whole day. Your body was actively into fight or flight mode. So being in a flight or fight mode the whole day, the body gets exhausted. That exhaustion or that fatigue is strain. You did not do anything the whole day. You were sitting stagnantly. But your body was perceiving the stressor of awaiting the result as a challenge. So it was reacting in a flight or fight response. And hence in the end of the day, despite of not doing anything, you get strained, you get fatigued. This is an example that you can correlate. Every time the results come, you are awaiting the results in the anxiety. You are either fatigued. Some students also experience shivering or fever in awaiting the results. So I would like to also explain you what exactly are types of stress. There is a huge description in this, but I will keep it very small. Basically, there are two types of stress. There is good stress and that is bad stress. Good stress is generated in area where you have a positive life event, where you get a promotion, where you get you are getting married, you become a parent, uh, uh, your partner accepts your relationship. In such events you experience a type of anxiety, a type of happiness where your body feels different. That is eustress. And there are some negative events in life which creates distress. You might have heard this term that that person seems to be distressed a lot. Distress is our body's reaction or a body is experiencing stress due to any condition that is not positive, that is negative. So there is eustress and distress. Eustress and distress both are a type of stress. Only the stressor is having a positive impact or a negative impact on your life. But the body does not differentiate between the positive or negativity of the impact. It responds to the stress in a similar fashion. So one should learn to adapt to both type of stresses. Prolonged stress can cause exhaustion. Either good or bad, prolonged stress is not good. But most common stress that nowadays everybody experience is called as a symbolic stress. Symbolic stress are the stresses which we imagine or which actually we perceive to exist. They can be of different type. Body cannot differentiate between different type of stresses. For body, every stress is stress. So a similar type of fight, flight or freeze response is created. The stress can be a biological survival stress like an accident or death. Suddenly a car comes in front of you, you are startled and you jump away. That is a response to stress. Or similarly, social anxiety, stage courage. If you have to speak in some front of someone, if you have to speak in front of a large crowd and you are stressed for that, either you freeze on the stage, you don't remember what is to be done, or you suddenly become, some people faint, some people run away from the stage, or some people start getting, very aggressive while giving their speeches. That is a type of strain, or that is a type of stress reactivity our body is creating. A third can be a psychological type, like in interviews or exams or during your mock viva. So while giving the mock viva, we experience the stress. Now, what does this stress do? It puts us into a fight, flight, or freeze response. Every one of you might have experienced that you get angry during the viva, or you get warm, or you get cold during the viva, or you start forgetting everything during the viva. That is your body's response to stress. You might not remember answers during the exam. That is because you are stressed. So now, after understanding what is stress, what is stress reactivity, what actually we react, and what is strain, it is important to know that there is a huge evolutionary mistake, that is our body cannot differentiate between different type of stress. The experience we have while we face a car that is going to crush us, or the examiner who is going to ask us the question, the body perceives both the threat in a similar fashion. Stress is stress, whether it is due biological, it is physical, it is psychological, or it is social. Any type of stress, the body perceives it as a threat to survival, and it enters into the fight, fight or freeze mode. And in that mode, the body actually creates so many changes within the body that we need to survive. The body needs to survive. Imagine a tiger jumping in front of you. You have to fight the tiger. Your body will need huge amount of strength. But do you need that much amount of strength while facing your viva? No. But the body cannot differentiate. Imagine you are in front of a car. You will jump behind the. You need to jump aside. Your body needs strength. You need to be very alert. You need to focus. That will is For that reason the body releases many hormones. So are those hormones necessary while you are speaking on a stage? Not necessary. So stress is common. It is an evolutionary part of our body, but prolonged period of stress is not healthy, because all these mediators that the body releases during a stressful situation can be consumed by the body. But a prolonged period of stress, these products are not consumed. And the accumulation of these products can lead to many side effects. So as I said, currently the need for stress as compared to caveman does not exist. Only policemen or army people, or thieves who are running from one another or in a war situation, they actually need to enter the fight or flight mode, or sometimes during the road traffic accident. That we don't encounter every day. What we encounter every day are the symbolic stresses, stresses that are basically social stresses, psychological stresses. General biological survival threats are not encountered on a daily basis. But our body does not respond to every stress differently. Even our daily hassles, like you have to get up in the morning, you have to get ready early, you have to reach college on time, you have to submit your work, you have to read something that what the staff had told you yesterday, you have to complete some assignments. All these things, the deadlines, they create turbulence in your state of mind. Those are the daily hassles. So you anticipate the outcomes of such hassles. If I don't do homework, then the teacher will scold me. You are only anticipating this thing, but the body does not know that you are anticipating it. It responds in a way that it is actually happening. It again creates a fight or flight response where you experience more anxiety, where you experience more stress reactivity. And if it is into our personality, or if it is into our habit that we continuously keep anticipating stress, and we are not able to tackle our daily works, then the accumulation of such strain product leads to illness and disease. And you will not believe that such situation exists from very less age. Nowadays the school or kindergarten going students, or even the students who have children who have not yet started going to school, experience stress. So what is stress reactivity? The most common type of reactions that the body give during a stressful situations, many of you might have experienced. There is increased in muscle tension, your legs they feel cramped, your heart is beating faster, there is elevation in blood pressure, there is increased neural excitability, you become more excitable, any small event can startle you, there is less saliva or drying on the mouth, you feel dryness in the mouth, or sometimes even there can be an increased salivary secretion. There is increased perspiration, you breathe faster, there is increased or changed in respiratory rate, we breathe fast so that we restore more oxygen which is required to actually fight or flight. You see all these responses: increased muscle strength, increased heart, higher blood pressure, increased agility or increased attentiveness due to neural excitability, dryness of mouth, and increased blood glucose level. All this is necessary if you are fighting an animal, or if you are running away from someone. All these things are very helpful for our biological survival in a situation where there is a threat to our survival. But all this is not necessary during a small stressful situation of internal viva, or giving a essay, or giving a reflective speech at on any stage. But our body does not differentiate. For the body, every stress is a threat to survival. Hence, it is our duty to recognize the stress. And once we recognize the stress ourselves, we can control our middle and lower level of brain. The third level of the brain, that is the neocortical level, which is the conscious level, which we can control, and which actually has control over the middle and lower level of the body. It is the control the person has on the top layer of the neocortical level of the brain, which decides how everyone responds to different type of stress. Every student does not face the exam viva with stress. Some are very relaxed. Even though some students don't know the answers, or they have not prepared for the exams, still they don't experience stress. That is because they have more control over the neocortical system, in which they know that it is just a viva, it is not a life-threatening situation, so I need not get stressed. I can face the viva, even if I don't get good marks, it is not going to end my life. This conception in their brain allows their middle and lower levels of the brain to stay calm down and respond in the way which is more favorable for their biological survival. So a person with a constant habit of being stressed, prolonged stress, can lead to many effects. So what are these effects? Symptoms can be severe during prolonged duration of acute stress. Dryness of mouth, difficulty in breathing, pounding of heart, stomach ache, chronic headaches are commonly seen in students who are actually stressed for a prolonged period of time. Irritability, problem in concentration, excessive tension, all these things are signs of stress. You need to work on your stress management. This event internalize in form of illness. So when there is continuous secretion, you know what the reactivity symptoms we had seen? When there is increased secretion of increased muscle tension for a prolonged period of time, there is increased secretion of HCl in your stomach, there is increased respiration. So the problems like digestive problems, physical problems like migraine, indigestion, acidity, or loss of appetite and constipation, hormonal dysregulations also which affect growth are seen in students. Even the younger age students can experience loss of libido or reduced sexual activity due to prolonged period of stress, because the endocrine system gets imbalanced, and because of imbalance in the endocrine system, most of the activities that we routinely perform gets imbalanced. Chronic stressors also affect cognition, loss of memory, problem with concentration, performance gets compromised, which leads to depression. Now imagine an animal is attacking you. Is it important for the mind to remember things during the attack? No. At that time, your survival is most important. So if you are stressed, your body is responding to the stress in a way that you are being attacked by some animal. So it is not going to allow the lower levels of the body to perform a function which is not very important for the survival. So if you perceive an exam or exam situation in the way that it is a stress generating situation, your body will not allow you to remember things. It will not allow you to, remember what you have read earlier, which will compromise your performance. And once your performance is compromised, you become more stressed, and the further increase in stress reduces your performance further. So stress is a very vicious thing. It continues, it causes itself. So you need to identify your stress and tackle your stress very seriously. So what is strain? Strain is the reaction that the body has to experience because of stress. There is a stressor, there is a situation, there is an event which your body perceives as a stressful situation. So then there is stress reactivity is created. Stress reactivity is what we discussed in the earlier side, but a long period of stress reactivity causes actual changes in your body. These changes may or may not be reversible. So the changes are called as strain. So strain can be physical strain, psychological strain, or behavioral strain. Physical strains can be headache, muscle tension, back tension. If you see a person who is having a stressful personality, is usually having aches in the body, headache, body ache, or some type of ache. Nowadays, we see students or children of the school also having headache or body ache. This is because of the stress that they perceive. There is a psychological strain. Psychological strain is when we start anticipating every situation to be stressful and start contemplating that something will go wrong, contemplating the experience of being in a crowd. We will start imagining that we are in a crowd and we are not able to perform, we are facing the exam and we are not able to answer. So every time we start imagining that we are not going to succeed, we are not going to be able to do something, that type of personality we start developing. And then there will be behavioral changes. So when we are not able to control ourselves, we start doing any substance abuse, or we start consuming substances, or we start getting angrier or aggressive and entering into fights, or we start withdrawal, we start not going to classes, we start not studying because it is not useful to study, because anyways I study and I don't remember doing the exam. So you stop studying, you stop going to classes. All these things will change in your behavior. And if you notice, because you did not tackle your stress, your methods or your cope-up mechanism failed, which further leads to fall of self-esteem, and it continues into a vicious cycle unless start experiencing helplessness. So, but if you start to manage your stress properly, your daily hassles properly, you will not experience such situations, and you can tackle such situation. Everyone will experience, but the way you tackle the situation, it is the way you come back to your normal self. It is what is stress management. Daily hassle increase reactivity and increase strain. That means you are stressed to give a viva, but while coming to the college, you had to uh, cross the road, and during crossing the road, someone spilled water on you, or it started raining, or you did not get the bus, or your school bus missed. These are very common things. You do it daily, but it does not get stressed. But because of such events, your mental status got turbulent. And when you are facing Viva, you experience more amount of strain, because from the morning you are having turbulence on your thought pattern. So this thought pattern and belief systems is also very important for understanding stress, but today I will not get into it. So as I told you, stress itself leads to stress. So as you can see in this cycle, once we perceive a situation to be a stressful situation, the stressor initiates an emotional response in our body. This emotional response decides if we are able to tackle the situation, and similarly our body responds. If we have a good control of your neocortical system, we respond in a more positive way, or else we respond in a negative way where our performance reduces, which leads to a lower self-esteem. This lower self-esteem generates emotional pressure and an inferiority complex in us, which further reduces our performance. And this reduced performance in turn increases other ability of the stressor, or increases the behavior of the person, where he perceives every stress to be a challenging situation which he or she cannot cope up with. So then the person starts going into the learned helplessness phase, which was given by Seligman. It means that with our experiences or past experiences, where we have experienced that we cannot face a situation successfully, our memory leads to us to anticipate every situation to be similar to that situation. Hence we are not able to face any threatful situation, so we either run away or we freeze in a situation which we perceive to be stressful. It is very important that we understand our stress. See, stress is going to be there. Everything we do, we anticipate outcome. Without stress, a person cannot live, be alive. So, our performance and our stress levels are correlated. When our stress level is minimal, we don't do anything because we know we did not do anything. So, we are either inactive or we are bored, and our performance is very low. But when we need to increase our performance, the stress level also needs to increase. So there is a level where there is healthy stress. At the healthy level of stress, we feel little bit tension or little motivated or focused. So this helps us to perform our activity with more efficiency and vigilance and give a more better performance. There is an optimal level of stress where we are extremely focused and our performance is the best. But if we increase more stress, the performance does not increase more. There is a level to everyone's performance. Increase of stress is not going to infinitely increase your performance. Based on individuals' physical or mental abilities, our performance can reach a particular high. We need to identify this performance and not stress ourselves further to this performance, because if we stress ourselves even higher to this performance, expecting a much better performance or a response, then we are doing harm to ourselves. We start getting stress overload, where we experience fatigue and exhaustion. In this period, our performance is good, but it is causing harm to ourselves, because the similar amount of performance can be achieved with a much lesser level of stress. But in the aim to achieve higher performance, we start fatiguing ourselves. We start facing more stress. Further increase in stress actually starts decreasing our performance. We start panicking, we start getting angry on ourselves, that even after doing so much hard work, why am I not getting any outcome, or why is my outcome less to others? Or we start having breakdown or burnouts. This means that we have increased our stress levels to such a high area that we are not able to perform. This level of performance is similar to the level of performance where we are inactive. So we need to identify our stresses and our stress reactivity and our strain, and try to maintain it in the level where we can perform at our peak. Excessive stress is of no use. It is going to reduce our performance. And stress management is the thing which is going to help us do that. Stress management skills help us to face greater stressors and return back to the resting level faster, using coping skills and other resources to burn the burden of stress. Examples: jogger reach a higher rate of heart rate and return back to normal compared to others. That is because they do it daily. They know, they are aware of their heart rate. They know that once they stop running, their heart is going to come back normal. But if a person does not jog, he has to run someday, he may experience an elevated heart rate, which is for prolonged period of time, leading to an increased the tension on the heart, and even it can cause heart attack. That does not happen with joggers because they practice it. Similarly, stress is experienced by everyone, but the person who practices management skills on a daily basis is more calm. He knows that stress is going to come, but he can tackle the situation. he can perform at his optimum with tackling his stress. The level of stress needs to be maintained in a normal level. Stress management is a very elaborate topic which we can discuss in further lectures. But today I would like to mention a few common techniques which you can help to manage your stress. See, a light to moderate exercise or physical activity at the start of the day is going to prepare your body to be more agile, to be more ready to consume the products of stress. In the whole day, during your daily hassles, during your performance, you are going to face many stressful situations. But if your body is physically prepared to consume the byproducts of stress, then you will not experience more strain during the day. And that is physically. And mentally, when you do meditation or any variation of meditations, your brain is prepared. Your turbulence in your thought pattern is reduced. You are more clear in your thoughts to identify every stressful situation and react accordingly. The stability of your thought patterns and your belief helps us throughout the day. Most of the people you might have heard who talk about stress management techniques talk about meditation. Meditation is a method of self-awareness. You need to be aware of what is your mental status and physical status and what is the situation in the surrounding and how you need to react to it. Meditation is not only sitting with your eyes closed and chanting some mantras. It is being aware of your situation, aware of your body, aware of your mind, aware of your surroundings and reacting in response. Even before going to a viva, if you evaluate your situation, if you close your eyes, breathe your mind, breathe slowly and recognize what are your thought patterns and you control your thought patterns and you stream them to be a more positive thought pattern, you can perform much better. There are self-help techniques where you identify the stressors. Like I was telling, in every situation, everything that you want to do, you need to identify the stressor and then explore your options. Is the stressor, like you're going for an exam, you know that you have studied, you know that he's going to ask some questions and you are obviously not going to know every answer. It is perfectly okay not to answer for some questions, but you need to be more vigilant and alert and give a good answers for the question that you are aware. You need to stop thinking or anticipating that everything he will be asking is the one which you are not knowing or something like that. These things create a turbulent thought pattern or a stressful, they create a symbolic stress which is going to further reduce your performance and depress you. Stop thinking in a negative sense. You keep the thought patterns in a positive, calm manner so you can practice, you can perform much better. You need to practice hardiness. I will tell you what is hardiness on the next slide. Hardiness is a method where you train yourself to perform better in every situation. And lastly, if you think that you are frequently encountering more stress and more stressful situations, then you need to seek help from a professional, a psychologist or a counselor, whatever is available at your situation. So I was talking about hardiness. Hardiness is a combination of three things. First is commitment, control, and challenging attitude. Commitment. Commitment is when one is involved in ongoing change rather than an isolated observer. That means you need to commit to perform better. There is an exam which is going on. You know that you are supposed to go and face a viva, but you cannot be a blind observer. I will go there. What will ever happen? It will happen. It is on good faith. Bhagwan bharose. Everything will happen and you will come back. That is not going to happen. That is not going to help you cope up with the stress. That is not going to help you improve your performance. You need to commit to everything that you're going to do. You need to be involved in the situation so that you are in the control of the situation rather the situation being in your control. You need to be committed to be involved in the change. Then you need to have to take control. Taking control is struggling to influence the outcome rather than feeling powerless or passive. You need to find out options. What is the thing that you can do? Do that thing. You think that you're going for an exam, you don't know this answer, but there is something in relation to it that you know that you can tell. You try to take the discussion to that situation or to that chapter. Most of the time the examiner asks, what chapter have you read? It is a very good opportunity to take control of the situation and lead the discussion to the point where you control the situation. Instead of anticipating that the examiner is going to ask whatever you don't know and you feel powerless and you are having learned helplessness where you think you cannot do anything. Anyways, this exam though is gone. I am going to fail. You become depressed and this continues the vicious cycle. You're not able to answer even the questions which you had read. Sir, I had read it, but I don't remember. That is because you're not in the control of the situation and you are anticipating stress, and that stress is leading to further loss of your performance. Remember, you need to be committed that you will perform better and you will manage the situation properly. Then you need to take control. You need to search for options and you need to influence the outcomes of situation. You don't have to influence. You have to influence the outcomes of the situation by improving your own performance, not by any other means. Challenging attitude. We see everything as a challenge, but we need to perceive it that we are going to have a positive outcome of it. We need to explore options towards a more positive performance and more positive outcome. There are opportunities for new learning in every challenge that we face. And every time we practice hardiness, we get to learn that new innovative techniques, the technique which helps you yourself. You can devise your own methods to face stress. This is stress management. Stress management is not a cookbook approach. Everyone needs to devise their own methods, and these methods needs to be more positive, more healthy, but ethical. See, the people who are not able to manage stress, they turn to more unethical or more unhealthy methods of tackling stress, like substance abuse or getting angry, something. That is not good in a long term. So we should have an optimistic outlook of our life, which is going to help us to lead a low stress life. Lastly, I would like to shed some points on time management. During examinations, you will face situations where you will not have time to answer your paper. You write all the answers in your paper, or you complete your clinical work on time. So you need to make it a habit to manage time properly. Time management also is a stressful situation. We anticipate that we will not have time to answer everything. This creates stress, and that stress further reduces your performance. But reducing your performance means you will need more time to do the same amount of work. So having low stress and managing time properly can help you improve your performance. So you need to break a problem or break your paper into small topics or small part. Then you need to prioritize. Even any problem or anything that you're doing, you need to prioritize. You need to list that what you will be doing first, and then you will be going to next thing. That is you taking the control. First, breaking the topic into small parts is the thing where you're committing yourself to do the top work, and then you're prioritizing what you will do first, and then you will do the next thing. That is you taking the control. Once you take the control, you easily go sail through the problem and have a positive outcome to it. You make a habit of doing the same thing for everything that you do. So your mind gets trained to break every problem into small part and then prioritizing them based on your abilities of performance. You make a habit this from the first day of your college. Make a habit to plan the next day, what you will be doing next day. If there is something to study, make a habit of planning the chapter, what you will be doing first, the thing which you don't know or the thing which you know, and then sail towards the thing which you know or you don't know respectively. At the end of the day, evaluate your today's progress. Evaluation of your progress helps you recognize your drawbacks, the things which you are not able to do. Then you can again take control and change those habits. So the next day you have a much better control of your performance rather than the situation having control of your performance. You need to set a time that you do every day. You need to make it a habit. You fix a time before going to bed. You are going to plan for the next day and evaluate your today's progress. And you can also evaluate what you did right, what you did wrong. So this is called as time management. Or your hardiness. Your hardiness is also a very good habit where you challenge yourself and you accept the challenge. Then you take control of the situation and you commit to give a better outcome. This habit, when incorporated with time management, improves your performance very positively. And once you start improving yourself, you need to reward yourself. And remember that this reward needs to be a healthy reward. Don't get indulged into unhealthy methods of rewarding yourself. So, with this small lecture, I would like to end this session. Uh, I know you will be facing exams very soon. So, I prepared this small lecture to help you to identify your stresses and cope up with them so you can perform much better. So, all the best for your upcoming exams. We will see you in next lecture. Thank you.